Tonight, the Senators' star goaltender takes us behind the mask.
I was seriously having anxiety problems and panic in between first and second period and leading into the first period.
Linus Ullmark sitting down with TSN to address his leave of absence from the team. In agony with two broken legs, waiting hours only to see an ambulance pull up and then pull away again.
As we were looking out the window, the ambulance turned around and left.
What went wrong on this particular day after a call to 911? And by the way, a celebration of Bytown 200 years in the making.
An opportunity to show to Canadians that there's a place where you can come and celebrate, and there's big events going on throughout the year.
How Ottawa is marking a capital celebration. Good evening. We begin tonight with a difficult off-ice chapter for Ottawa Senators goaltender Linus Ullmark, who is opening up about his mental health struggles and the reason he stepped away from the club after Christmas. In an exclusive interview with TSN's Claire Hanna, Ullmark discusses his journey and the rumors that circulated online. CTV's Kimberly Fowler joins us with the story. Kimberly.
Well, Patricia, on December 28th, the Senators announced that Ullmark was taking a leave of absence from the team. And this exclusive interview, he's making public comments about it for the first time since stepping away from the ice. The interview was filmed at the Canadian Tire Centre on Saturday. The 32-year-old says the reason for his leave of absence is to deal with his mental health and that he's doing a lot better. Ullmark says some things have been piling on and off the ice, and calls what he's been going through a journey.
It comes a time, and you never know when, where the cup starts to overflow. And for me, that was the game against Toronto, where I was having panic attacks, not attacks, but, seriously having anxiety problems and panic in between first and second period and leading into the first period.
And after that game in Toronto, Ullmark says he called the NHL and the NHL Player Assistance Program saying he needed help. Then after the day of his leave of absence was announced, Ullmark says he was made aware about rumors circulating about him and his family online. On January 8th, the Senators released a statement to deny the rumors. General Manager Steve Staios saying the organization is, quote, extremely disappointed to read the completely fabricated and false stories that are spreading about the Sens goalie. Ullmark says from the statement from Staios and support from the players, it helped.
Then getting sent the message from that Steve and the organization put out was incredible. And then to hear all the nice things that the guys said in the locker room after coming home, it was heartwarming.
Ullmark says he's received help from doctors, therapists, the Sens organization, as well as from other NHL players and former coaches. Now, Ullmark is traveling with the Sens on their current 3-game road trip, which continues tonight in Columbus. James Reimer is starting in net, but there is no word on when or if Ullmark will dress for a game. Patricia.
CTV's Kimberly Fowler live for us tonight. Thank you. Well, it was an agonizing wait that felt like a lifetime. An Ottawa man is sharing his wife's painful experience after waiting nearly 3 hours for an ambulance. CTV's Dylan Dyson spoke with the family and joins us now live. Dylan.
Yeah, Patricia, it was on December 21st that 75-year-old Sandy Kratzbarg fell and broke bones in both of her legs. And the worst part, after 2 hours, an ambulance finally pulled up, only to pull away again.
Awesome. What about some kicking?
Sandy Kratzbarg is doing physio at the Kentville Hospital, but getting here took longer than she or her husband Sid could have imagined.
We were at a good friend's house, and on our way to go back home, she tripped over boots.
They would later learn that Sandy, who is 75 years old with osteoarthritis, broke her femur in one leg and tibia in the other.
We've been married 49 years, and I've never heard someone screaming in pain like that. She even said it was worse than giving birth.
They called 911, but ended up waiting 2 hours for an ambulance to arrive.
Finally, an ambulance did arrive, and we look out the window, and then it turns around, and went.
Ottawa paramedics say an ambulance responding to assist Sandy was redirected due to a life-threatening call.
She's on the floor screaming. She's in excruciating pain. Well, we'll try and get an ambulance right away. Still was almost another hour for that ambulance.
In a statement, Ottawa paramedics said, in this case, 3 paramedic crews were assigned to the call and 2 were redirected to life-threatening calls before the 3rd paramedic crew arrived at the patient's side. The service says that on that December 21st day, over 50 life-threatening calls came in between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. And as a result, some non-life-threatening calls had to wait longer for care. Paramedics add that events that day were uncommon.
I understand, but it's so hard to justify the wait time. Today's paper, hospitals face difficult decisions on services closures, doctors expose ER deaths.
It's an experience that has left Kratzbarg frustrated with the state of Canada's health care.
I'm reading the paper every day. There are major problems with emergency rooms, primary care, ambulatory services, and I think our government is doing a terrible job.
Now, Sid says his wife Sandy is recovering at the Kentville Hospital, but there is a long road ahead given the femur break, which can take anywhere from 12 to 18 months to fully heal. Patricia.
Long haul, just can't imagine. CTV's Dylan Dyson live for us tonight. Thank you. Well, he was a man on a most unlikely mission, but Tysen Lefebvre, against all odds, made it happen. Tysen leaves an incredible legacy of kindness and caring. Tonight, family and friends in the community are gathering to remember Tysen, who passed away on Christmas Day and whose love of hockey was second only to his love of helping others. CTV's Caitlin Wilson joins us live now with more on what is happening at the Canadian Tire Centre tonight. Caitlin.
Yeah, Patricia, and in speaking with those who knew Tysen, he's being described as joyful, positive, upbeat. He's being remembered for his love of hockey, relentless fundraising, and drive to give back. Things are about to get underway here at 6:30. The doors are expected to open, and organizers say so far about 600 people have already registered, with more expected to come through the doors to celebrate the legacy he leaves behind.
We kind of want this to be reserved for Tysen.
His trainer set to be retired in honor of Tysen Lefebvre, who friends and family say lived by one simple motto: let's go have some fun. They say that spirit carried into his everyday life, from fundraising to advocacy and onto the ice.
That was him on every level, and the consistency of that message, given all that he was contending with, makes it even more admirable.
As a teenager, Tysen played hockey with the capital city Condors. Born with a rare genetic condition, he faced medical challenges throughout his life, but his love for hockey never changed.
It got more and more difficult as he got a little bit older to continue to play as his mobility decreased. So that's why he stopped playing, but he never stopped cheering.
I have Viper syndrome type 2.
And that support went far beyond the rink. As a child, Tysen received a wish through Make-A-Wish Canada, meeting actor and comedian Adam Sandler. That wish sparking his mission to $1 million, raising $1 million and helping 100 other children receive their wishes as well.
Think about the ripple effect that has, and that's something that will never be forgotten here at in Eastern Ontario and across the country at Make-A-Wish.
Tysen received numerous awards throughout his life, including the Mayor's City Builder Award. He also worked as the accessibility ambassador for the Ottawa Senators, and it's here that family, friends, and community members will gather to celebrate his life. Tysen died on Christmas Day at the age of 25, but his legacy lives on in the lives he touched.
My dad used to say the measure of a life is measured by the impact that it makes and the imprint that it leaves, and that's Tysen.
And again, the doors are set to open at 6:30, with things getting underway at 7. There are a number of people expected to speak, including Tysen's parents. But in speaking with people who are expected to be in attendance later, they say what better way to honor his legacy than the same way he lived, bringing people together and giving back. Patricia?
A powerful and emotional celebration of life ahead, no doubt. CTV's Caitlin Wilson live from the CTC. Thank you. Still ahead. ahead, could you go without your morning coffee to save money? Is the answer a hard no, even if we tell you coffee prices are up 30% year over year? The reason why, coming up. Well, here's a live look now through our Centennial Glass Skycam. A chilly evening after a pretty cold day, minus 11 out there in Ottawa right now. As we take our first look at the weather forecast, and chilly may be the word for the next few days, or at least into the weekend, Jackie.
Well, Patricia, I know a lot of people are saying, oh, it's pretty cold today. Well, if you thought today was cold, gear up for this weekend. But before we get to that, yes, more snow is on the way for tomorrow. It has prompted a snowfall warning, not here in Ottawa for most of Eastern Ontario, but for parts of Kingston where they could see up to 20 centimeters of snow. This will begin in the early Wednesday morning into Wednesday evening. But for here in Ottawa, we will likely see the snow really significantly fall into the afternoon, into the early morning. So we anticipate between 3 to 5 centimeters of snow. In terms of temperature, well, we are getting to a daytime high about -7, but when you factor in that wind chill by the noon hour, it's going to feel closer to -16. Right now, though, temperatures across the region sitting between -10, -12 degrees. And again, the cold is on its way. We will have a closer look at this for you in just a bit.
Well, it has been 200 years since Colonel John By settled in the town that would become Ottawa. To celebrate the big birthday, the city will host events ranging from a world record attempt to a 200th anniversary tulip-themed corn maze, as well as art installations right across the city. CTV's Leah Larocque joins us with details on the 200th festivities. Leah.
Patricia, our city predates Confederation. Bytown started as a lumber settlement that was critical for trade. But the celebrations will highlight not only Ottawa's founding 200 years ago, but Indigenous history, Francophone culture, and the people who make the capital what it is today. It will also include one of the city's unofficial favorite dishes.
Large two? Large one too?
Mustafa Gossim says Ottawa's shawarmas are better than anywhere else.
I make more than like million of sandwiches of shawarma. That's why I'm so happy.
He's excited to hear the garlicky wrap is part of Ottawa's bicentennial celebrations, including a Guinness World Record attempt at Shawarma Fest.
I like Ottawa more than other because like the capital for shawarma, that's Ottawa.
On the traditional event, Ottawa is turning 200 years old. The year-long party will include a tulip display in the spring and corn maze in the summer at Saunders Farm.
We're going to have all kinds of interactive activities inside a 3-acre maze.
And big acts like the Guess Who will perform on a special day at Blues Fest. And smaller festivals like Debaser's Peak will highlight the local arts scene.
I think that we're in a really exciting time for the Ottawa art scene, the Ottawa music scene in particular. It's an exciting time to celebrate our heritage and our present day cultural moment alongside this citywide celebration.
It can be hard to imagine that the city we know right now pretty much started close to where I am standing. The Rideau Canal to my left, and one of Ottawa's oldest buildings is right behind me, the Bytown Museum.
1832 is the first one. So this is when the year that the Rideau Canal was finished construction.
The museum says Ottawa has come a long way from a small lumber settlement in 1826. The Rideau Canal integral to our city's history.
The Ottawa River or the Kitchissippi, importance of trade networks, highways, areas for connection, community.
The mayor says this milestone comes at a critical time.
This is an opportunity to show to Canadians that there's a place where you can come and celebrate, and there's big events going on throughout the year. We can draw more Canadian tourists to our city.
200 years of local pride on full display.
I think it's amazing. We need to bring more people to Ottawa, especially downtown.
In total, Ottawa Tourism will be giving grants of up to $20,000 to help support 14 projects. Now, we also spoke to the night commissioner, who said stay tuned for more event announcements. Patricia.
Going to be a fun year.
For sure.
CTV's Leah Larocque live for us tonight. Thank you. And you can scan the QR code on the bottom of your screen to link to us online or visit ctvnewsottawa.ca. We have more details on the Ottawa 200 celebrations. You can download the CTV News app right now. Just scan the QR code on your screen using your smartphone. Well, the federal government continues to issue notices to public servants that their jobs may be affected by the Comprehensive Expenditure Review. Innovation, Science and Economic Development confirms to CTV News Ottawa that 1,100 employees were told last week they would receive notices their position may be impacted. The department plans to reduce its workforce by 45 executive and 569 non-executive positions over the next 2 years. The federal government plans to cut 28,000 jobs over the next 4 years as part of a plan to find $60 billion in savings. The Globe and Mail reports Transport Canada will send letters to 1,500 employees to say their positions may be affected. The department plans to cut 600 jobs. As OC Transpo riders deal with canceled buses this winter, a community group is making a pitch for free transit periods and more buses on the road. Free Transit Ottawa unveiled its transit vision last night in the Glebe. The $125 million plan for OC Transpo includes free rides during off-peak periods and on weekends, the purchase of 150 new buses, and expanded bus-only lanes.
Those that are on the buses say it's too expensive, it's too unreliable.
There are a lot of things that we can do without necessarily going down the path of free transit in the immediate near term to make public transit a first instead of a last choice.
To cover the cost of the ideas, Free Transit Ottawa proposes taking $50 million from the road widening budget, increasing parking rates to $6 an hour, and boosting development fees on single-family homes by 25%. An Ottawa councillor is calling on OC Transpo to treat the current bus shortage like an emergency water main repair. Sean Menard says OC Transpo should be purchasing used buses as soon as possible. He also wants the city to shift mechanics from other departments to OC Transpo to assist. OC Transpo has been forced to cancel hundreds of bus strips due to buses needing maintenance work and the aging fleet. Last week, the transit service announced it was reducing the weekday schedule by 255 trips a day, which will require 20 fewer buses each day. Well, 4 pets are dead after a fire in a Vanier house overnight. A resident called 911 just after 2:30 this morning, reporting smoke and flames in the basement of a home on Dieppe Street. All 4 residents living in the home managed to escape. 3 cats and a dog were found unconscious inside the home. They died from their injuries. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Well, Canada's Prime Minister delivered strong words at the World Economic Forum in Davos today without mentioning the U.S. President. Mark Carney also said the rules-based world order is fading and we must adapt. And he reaffirmed Canada's support for Greenland. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver is in Davos with more.
Nestled in the usually calm mountains of the ski town Davos, a chaotic meeting of hundreds of politicians and top business leaders at the World Economic Forum that this year Prime Minister Mark Carney used to deliver a frank message about the future.
The old order is not coming back. We shouldn't mourn it. Nostalgia is not a strategy. But we believe that from the fracture, we can build something bigger, better, stronger, more just.
Carney declared the U.S.-led world order dead and said countries must turn inward now that it's clear integration can lead to subordination.
Call it what it is, a system of intensifying great power rivalry where the most powerful pursue their interests using economic integration as coercion.
Withstanding those economic shocks, the Prime Minister said will require like-minded countries to pivot, to work together to hedge uncertainty. While Trump's name was never mentioned, Carney did call on middle powers like Canada to push back against domination by great powers, using tariffs as leverage and supply chains as vulnerabilities to be exploited.
In a world of great power rivalry, the countries in between have a choice. Compete with each other for favor, or to combine to create a third path with impact.
The message receiving what organizers described as a rare standing ovation at a summit where geopolitics and the future of Greenland is looming large.
Our commitment to NATO's Article 5 is unwavering. Canada strongly opposes tariffs over Greenland and calls for focused talks to achieve our shared objectives of security and prosperity in the Arctic.
Carney may get a chance to raise his concerns about Greenland directly to the U.S. president. While no meeting is currently scheduled between Carney and Donald Trump, the U.S. president will be here tomorrow at the same time as Mark Carney. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Davos, Switzerland.
Well, President Trump spent the 1-year anniversary of his return to office touting what he called successes in office. He also defended his mass deportation policies, stating immigration officers, or ICE, are doing a good job.
I think it's appropriate that because Minnesota is so much in the fray, and I say to my people all the time, and they're so busy doing other things, they don't say it like they should. They're apprehending murderers and drug dealers and a lot of bad people.
Trump says 10,000 undocumented residents have been apprehended in Minnesota. Discussing the situation in Venezuela, Trump says he would like to get the opposition leader involved in the country's leadership there in some capacity. Well, police will not lay criminal charges after a school bus damaged Ottawa's newly built Kiweki Point, discovered in early December after a carefully crafted wooden beam was badly scraped across Whispering Point Shelter. Kiweki Point is formerly known as Nepean Point, overlooking the Ottawa River. CTV's Tyler Fleming explores the damage and the potential cost of repair.
Kiweki Point offers sweeping views of the National Capital Region, and at its tip, Whispering Point, an architectural shelter lined with glowing Alaskan yellow cedar beams.
It's a kind of a beautiful reminder of Indigenous lands we live on.
But that beauty took a hit in December when a school bus illegally drove onto the footpath, its roof scraping and breaking the timber, a long yellow streak visible from the Alexandra Bridge. Police say no criminal charges will be laid, which resident Lena Bassett understands.
I bike here in the summer, I walk here in the winter.
What she doesn't get.
I don't know how is even that possible, because how did they even do it?
Police and the National Capital Commission haven't released the details, but it's likely the bus turned onto the path near the National Gallery.
Unfortunate, but it's an accident, like it's unintended.
The NCC calls the damage significant and is seeking compensation for the repair.
If you had to replace it all, it would be very expensive.
Mark Priddle with the Wood Source says Alaskan yellow cedar was likely chosen for its many benefits.
It's been used for years in traditional totem pole making and things like that. Very slow growing wood. And because of that, it gives it some of its density and some of its rot-resistant characteristics.
The northern BC grown wood can cost upwards of $10 a board foot. Then it must be precision fabricated.
We've done similar curved replications like that, and they're always complicated. They require a lot of design work. I would say $40,000 to $50,000 minimum for the wood and then the manufacturing of the components.
The NCC says repairs will begin as soon as possible.
And I'm just very happy that nobody got hurt, so it could have been worse.
Tyler Fleming, CTV News.
Well, coming up, why your morning cup of coffee is more of a luxury item this year. Jackie.
Well, thanks so much, Patricia. Conditions are going to be cooling to about -13 for the overnight lows, but the winds are going to be sticking around with gusts up to 40 kilometers per hour. Now, temperatures are slow to warm up to about -7 tomorrow, but get ready. Periods of snow likely for Ottawa starting in the early afternoon. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam, where the temperature about -10 right now, but with that wind chill feeling closer to -16.
Today's snow report is brought to you by Camp Fortune. Let us teach you to love winter.
Here's how things look at Camp Fortune. A couple of centimeters down, but more on the way for skiers tomorrow. They've got a good base there. Most of their lifts are going, and 16 runs are available to skiers and snowboarders. At Edelweiss, closed today. Mont Cascade, 3 of 6 lifts and 15 runs. Also 15 runs at Calabogie Peaks. All 3 lifts are operating. All 4 lifts at Verlage as well. 13 runs available.
Let us teach you to love winter. We offer ski and snowboard lessons, a vast variety of runs, and let's not forget après ski in our new pub 1920. See you on the slopes.
Well, drip by drip, the price of coffee continues to rise. The latest stats can numbers show a 30% increase from last year. CTV's Peter Sperling reports.
Brian Scala's daily pick-me-up comes at a cost.
Trying to keep enjoying the caffeine kick, but save $1 where possible.
According to the latest Statistics Canada inflation numbers, coffee is up 30% year over year.
I think it's pretty crazy.
With local roasters, coffee shops seeing an increase in what they pay for coffee too.
Our price increase was between 40 and 45% rather than 30% because, again, a higher quality coffee, attract definitely higher prices.
At Happy Goat Coffee Company, owner Henry Assad says he's absorbed most of it, only raising prices slightly, about 5%.
We need to keep our customers happy.
Economists say there are several factors to blame, including bad growing weather and more global demand driving up prices.
2025 was not an easy year for coffee and coffee drinkers.
Grocery expert Sylvain Charbois says grocery store prices the most impacted.
Absolutely. And if you see a sale, grab a few bags.
Something many coffee drinkers have noticed.
I've noticed that for sure, that also with some brands that maybe I consider to be less quality are a lot more expensive.
Yeah, they've gone up, but people need their coffee. They'll spend as much as they can to get it.
I just buy whatever's on sale.
It would be around $18 for the tub. Now it's $33.
Despite the higher cost, Scala and others willing to pay.
You need to start a day with a cup of coffee. It's a must.
Peter Sperling, CTV News.
We have a lot of tea drinkers in here, so we get a bit of a break. And we received a break from Mother Nature today. The snowy weather on pause. We saw the sun, which was lovely, shining along the Rideau River earlier today. Ottawa has seen snow, though, on 16 of 20 days so far in January. I thought so. Feels like we've had a lot of snowy days. And we're not done yet. We have more snow on the way.
Well, I guess we could add a 17th a day because tomorrow we are anticipating more snow moving in through the region. How much, though? Well, it really depends on where you are. Right now, we're looking at temperatures -10 here. Saw the daytime high about -10. You might notice, though, that the hours are getting a little bit, or the days are getting a little bit longer. So we are keeping a close eye on this. But again, 17th day of snow is likely going to be tomorrow, especially here in Ottawa. We'll likely see this closer to the noon hour, really picking up by the evening and extending all the way into Thursday early morning. So between 3 to 5 centimeters for Ottawa, but for Kingston, a different story. A snowfall warning is in effect where they could see snow anywhere between 10 to 20 centimeters of snow, and this will start in the early hours of Wednesday morning. Now, right now, across the region, temperatures sitting between -11, -13, mainly cloudy skies, but there is still a chance we could see some light flurries moving in overnight hours. Tomorrow's the daytime highs still in the single digits, -6, -7, really for most of eastern Ontario. Kingston sitting around -1. So a lot warmer there considering what we are anticipating when we get towards the weekend. We could already start to see, if you look at really the map across Canada, we can see the Arctic air really moving down. Fredericton, Charlottetown still sitting under -10, but you could already see that Quebec's at -14, Timmins -22, Sudbury, Thunder Bay also sitting around the mid-teens. And it is Winnipeg, Saskatoon -17, -10. A lot of the cold air really focusing in the prairies as well as Ontario and Quebec. But when you get a closer look at Alberta as well as BC, temperatures pretty warm, 2 degrees in Calgary, sunshine, 9 degrees in Vancouver. So we will see a stretch in cold temperatures coming, and that's going to start around Friday. Here's a 7-day forecast brought to you by Davidson Hearing Aid Centers, celebrating over 80 years in family business. So yes, while Wednesday and Thursday we'll see temperatures around -5, -7, it's really not until Friday we'll start to see only a daytime high of -15, going down to -29. Saturday, only daytime high will be the coldest of the week at -18. We will get to see the sunshine, though, which will extend to Monday, but those temperatures, overnight lows, are going to be quite chilly for us here in Ottawa. So maybe plans to stay in this weekend.
Well, the nice thing is if you're out, no sunscreen required because you're going to be covered completely. Yeah, we'll get through it. January is almost done. Right?
We're almost in it, and I'm liking winterlude as well, so it's going to be great conditions for this.
Thanks, Jackie. Well, coming up, Cirque du Soleil's Big Top is coming back to Ottawa this year. We'll tell you where.
Tonight, the Prime Minister's bold foreign policy speech.
We know the old order is not coming back.
Plus, Mark Carney's blunt message about Greenland as Donald Trump prepares to take the Davos stage. Later on CTV National News and watch on Crave.
CTV News community and weather anchor Jackie Perez. Weeknights.
A growing number of Canadians are open to having AI do their shopping for them. A new report suggests artificial intelligence is quickly becoming part of how Canadians shop, with more than half of shoppers willing to complete their purchase using AI. CTV's Dave Charbonneau reports.
It's a shopping trend which is catching on, using artificial intelligence
or AI to shop and pay online.
Well, I mean, it's not a horrible idea, I would say.
Drew Roberts says the process of shopping can be a chore sometimes, and this new technology can help speed things up.
I guess it's definitely time consuming doing the shopping, right? So yeah, I mean, but they do have the apps now on some some places. You see that it's like just pick up, right?
One technology analyst says convenience is a big part of the appeal.
You know, we want it to be easier. We don't want to have to open up all these different apps and different websites and, you know, compare all sorts of different things on our smartphone in the middle of a store. Instead, we want to just tell it with a prompt, go find me the best deal on this product.
A report by payments company Adyen shows AI shopping is surging, especially with younger consumers. 45% of Gen Z and 44% of millennials in Canada use AI when shopping.
I use ChatGPT to ask them what's the difference between two products, and they will give me all the details about those products.
The report found 51% of Canadians are open to artificial intelligence completing a purchase for them, and 30% say they're already using AI when they shop, up from 11% last year. But not everyone is ready to change their habits yet.
Would you ever use AI for your online shopping?
No.
To do all your shopping for you?
No, I wouldn't. No, I will not use AI at all.
At this point, I'm not sure. I have a need for it.
No. Why not?
I just don't like using AI.
Retail analyst Bruce Winder says trust on using AI for shopping depends on the source of the data.
If you're on Amazon, they have their own built-in AI agent called Rufus, which is 100% accurate because it's all their data. But if you're not on Amazon and you're shopping through some of the other places or even searching through ChatGPT or what have you, there is still questions about the accuracy of the data.
As for retailers, the study shows that 78% are open to adapting to the new AI shopping technology. Dave Charbonneau, CTV News.
On tonight's Big Picture, the Northern Lights put on a spectacular display over parts of Germany. This was the scene in Germany last night, according to the German Weather Service. It's caused by a geomagnetic solar storm. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says the Northern Lights should be visible in Ottawa and Eastern Ontario tonight and tomorrow, weather permitting. Now, some other stories you need to know right now. Did you feel the earth move this morning? Earthquakes Canada says a magnitude 2.8 earthquake centered in Western Quebec was detected just before 5 this morning. It was located northwest of Hawkesbury. Several people in Western Quebec did report feeling it. No damage has been reported. Well, the ice storm that hit Ottawa, parts of Ontario and Quebec last year was the costliest severe weather event of the year. The Insurance Bureau of Canada says the ice storm from March 28th to April 1st caused $490 million in damage. Wildfires in Manitoba and Saskatchewan caused $300 million in damage. The Bureau says insured damage caused by severe weather exceeded $2.4 billion last year.
Mendoza looking to throw on 2nd and 10. He'll be sacked. Dropped by Akeem Mesidor. The other elite pass rusher defensive end gets home.
Well, how cool is this? Ottawa's Akeem Mesidor was showing off his skill for an international audience during the U.S. College Football Championship game last night. Mesidor, who plays for the Miami Hurricanes, had 2 sacks in the game. The Indiana Hoosiers beat the Hurricanes 27-21 to win the BCS title.
Detroit up ahead for Kopp. To the Bricket. Moves it and shoots.
The Ottawa Senators are looking to snap a 2-game losing streak tonight in Columbus. Ottawa is coming off back-to-back overtime losses on the weekend, on Saturday at home to Montreal, in Detroit on Sunday. You can catch the Senators and Blue Jackets at 7 p.m. tonight, the game on TSN 5 and TSN 1200. Cirque du Soleil's Big Top will return to Ottawa later this year. The popular show, Lucia, will perform under the Big Top tent at the Saint Laurent Centre. According to Cirque du Soleil, Lucia is inspired by the people, places, and stories that define Mexico.
He told me that I needed to pay him $7,000 in cash.
Well, coming up, it may be cold and snowy, but there is a warning about roof scams circulating in Ontario this winter. Well, warning tonight about questionable roofers knocking on doors this winter. One family says they were almost scammed out of more than $30,000. CTV's Pat Foran reports.
It was just before New Year's Day in Mississauga when a roofer knocked on the door of Leslie Bentley's home.
But I opened the door and he was saying that I see that you need your roof done and, you know, we're in the neighborhood and can we help?
Bentley says her shingles were getting older, so when the roofer said he could replace them, she agreed.
He told me that I needed to pay him $7,000 in cash.
The roofer said the home needed new shingles at a cost of $7,000, but once he got on top of the home, he said the roof was in terrible condition, and that's when the price jumped to $27,000. The roofer claimed Bentley's roof was in horrible shape.
It was rotten, that the wood was rotten, the struts that went down were rotten, and the whole thing needed to be replaced. I think I started to cry. I was really upset.
But before handing over any more money, Bentley called her daughter, Tracy.
I messaged back to my mom and say, do not give him any more money. I'm not sure these guys are legit.
Then Tracy's brother went up on the roof and confronted the roofers, asking to see the rotted wood, but there was no damage.
Which is not rotted. It was in fine condition. There was nothing wrong other than the fact that the roof needed new shingles.
As soon as Tracy and her brother asked questions, the roofers took off in a hurry.
We look out the window, the roofers are gone, the van is gone. Everyone took off.
This security video shows the man that Bentley gave the money to. The name of the company is 24 Hours Roofing and Masonry. When CTV News called, we were hung up on twice, and our emails were not returned. Bentley had to hire another company to reshingle her roof. She says while she regrets handing over $7,000, she's glad she wasn't scammed out of $27,000 and credits her children for helping her out.
I'm sure glad that I've got a very proactive son and daughter. I have no idea where I would be. You know, I would be $27,000 poorer, I guess.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Well, the North American stock market sank as world leaders met in Switzerland under the dark cloud of threats made by the U.S. president. BNN Bloomberg's Marla Fernandez has more.
The American markets were closed on Monday, so this is the first chance investors have had to respond to the rhetoric. And clearly, they were shaken, continuing to sell America, sending the market nosediving. Both the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq dropped over 2%. And the threats to Greenland sent spot gold to a new record high above $4,700 an ounce. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is up to 72.29. West Texas Intermediate up over $1 to 60.36. Western Canadian Select unchanged at 45.16. And the TSX lost 340 points to slip back under 33,000. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marla Fernandez.
It's smoke and mirrors from the minister. You are taking away the support and advocacy of a trustee who will help you navigate the whole process, and you're replacing it with another layer of bureaucracy.
Coming up, Ontario's largest school boards open up virtual offices for students and parents. Well, support offices have now opened at school boards under provincial supervision. The Ford government saying it's part of a much-needed overhaul, but critics are not on the same page. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris has more.
That's the special thing about Friends. They've been billed as a more direct way to raise concerns and get help. New parent and student support offices at school boards under provincial supervision, including Dufferin Peel Catholic, Toronto Catholic, and the TDSB.
Taking what we already do, and that is respond to questions and concerns from students and parents, and really formalize the process.
Critics see this as an attempt to replace what trustees had been doing.
It's smoke and mirrors from the minister. You are taking away the support and advocacy of a trustee who will help you navigate the whole process, and you're replacing it with another layer of bureaucracy.
There's no new money for these offices. Staff have been reassigned from elsewhere. At the TDSB, it's an office of 2.
We'll try to be acknowledging all of those emails or phone calls within 48 hours and to address the question or concern within 5 business days.
This sideline trustee worries about longer waits for action and families not having someone to advocate on their behalf.
But if more people know about it,
then that, I think, in itself is constructive, particularly at a time when parent engagement is being restricted.
With board meetings closed, streaming not officially allowed, and there are other barriers to getting involved.
You don't have a computer, or you don't know how to use a computer, or you can't do that in English, or there are accessibility problems that prevent you from using a computer to communicate. You're out of luck.
These support offices are expanding. School boards across Ontario are expected to have them ready to go for next school year. That's whether or not trustees continue to be part of the picture. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Franchises cement themselves.
Well, coming up, celebrating 50 years as Canada's baseball team, the Blue Jays gear up for what will be a very special season. Jackie.
Thanks so much, Patricia. We've got snow on the way for tomorrow here in Ottawa. Likely won't happen until the early afternoon into the evening. 3 to 5 centimeters is anticipated. And after Thursday, it's going to start to get much colder. By Friday, we will only see a daytime high of -15. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam, where temperatures right now sitting around -10. Clear skies for this evening.
You're watching CTV News with Patricia Bowl.
The National Capital Region is jam-packed with incredible experiences you don't want to miss. Hey, I'm Tania Taylor, your iHeartRadio Weekender, powered by Barrhaven Ford. Get the inside scoop on all the biggest and best events every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on CTV, Move 100, Pure Country 94, TSN 1200, and News Talk 580 CFRA. iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barrhaven Ford, Ottawa's newest and largest Ford dealership, and Ontario's #1 Ford EV dealer.
Tomorrow on CTV Your Morning Ottawa, we are paging Dr. Paul to get his advice on frostbite prevention and treatment. Wake up the right way with Your Morning Ottawa starting at 6 a.m.
Hairstyles, courtesy of Salon Fiorella.
Here's what's on CTV tonight. Best Medicine, Will Trent, High Potential, and The Rookie. And here's a recap of the top stories we are following right now.
Then getting sent the message from that Steve and the organization put out was incredible.
Ottawa Senators goaltender Linus Ullmark opening up to TSN about his leave of absence from the club.
I understand, but it's so hard to justify the wait time.
An Ottawa family is expressing frustration after waiting hours for an ambulance after a 75-year-old woman broke her legs.
An opportunity to show to Canadians that there's a place where you can come and celebrate, and there's big events going on throughout the year. We can draw more Canadian tourists.
The City of Ottawa and Ottawa Tourism hoping to draw tourists to Ottawa this summer to celebrate the bicentennial of the capital. A full list of events has been unveiled to mark 200 years of Ottawa. 200 years of cold Januaries and lots of snow as we take a final look at the forecast.
I'm sure in those 200 years there were some mild Januaries. That is not this year, though. As you can see, tomorrow morning, waking up to about -12. Chance of flurries will linger, but it is in the afternoon that we will likely see the significant portion of the snow moving through. 3 to 5 here in Ottawa, but Kingston could see anywhere between 10 to 20 centimeters. Daytime high -7. We'll have another mild, quote unquote, mild day for Thursday, -5 the daytime high, before we get into minus double digits Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday for our daytime highs. So brace yourselves, ladies. It will be a cold weekend with more snow on the way.
I'm going to do all my errands and running around on Thursday, I think. Schedule that way. Jackie, thank you. We want to check in and see what our news team will be working on for tonight. Kimberly Fowler's on the desk at 11:30.
We'll be looking out for any breaking news, of course. And we have both the Sens and the Charge playing tonight. We'll have a recap of both of those games. The Charge have won 6 of their last 7, and they're lacing up tonight in the Big Apple for their matchup against the Sirens. And the Sens, again, we've mentioned it before, they're looking to break a heartbreaking 2-game losing skid. They've lost back-to-back games in the first minute of overtime. Tonight, they face off against the Blue Jackets in puck drop. It's in a couple of minutes from now. And you can get the news anytime, anywhere at ctvnewsottawa.ca. Join me tonight for CTV News at 11:30.
All right, good stuff. Thank you. Are we starting to think a little bit about baseball weather and how nice it'll be when we get around to baseball season?
For the sunshine, I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. The Jays are kicking off the celebrations for what will be their 50th season.
Franchises cement themselves in history. Years of building, years of grit, and pure joy.
The Blue Jays are releasing a video on social media today with the caption "From coast to coast to coast, generation to generation, 50 seasons, Canada's team." The Jays also unveiled a special 50th season logo for their jerseys. Single game tickets for the upcoming season go on sale at 10 a.m. on Thursday. I would imagine, after what we saw last year from the Jays, those will be popular and will perhaps go pretty quickly.
Yeah, there were some Boxing Day deals that I know, like, I've already capitalized on that. A couple of friends
you
as well.
You have Jays tickets already?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I'm looking forward to it.
Season tickets?
No.
Individuals.
Just, individuals tickets, yeah. And spring training starts in about 2 to 3 weeks, so it's just around the corner.
Now, dare I say, sitting between two women from Toronto, they weren't Canada's team for all of those 50 years.
Yes, they were.
Yes, they were.
Yes, they were.
Yes, they were.